On today's broadcast to Life Recovery Thursday. Hey, life is messy and we all need to recover from this messy life, right? So, today we're going to be exploring a fascinating intersection between some spirituality, science, and also psychology. I think hopefully I believe that you'll like this. Some of you will. And by the way, if you're hearing this and if this is something you like, let me know. Hey, if you don't like it, tell me that too. I guess you know any attention is better than no attention at all, right? So anyway, my name's Doug Wilkerson. I'm here with Saturday Night Live, Life Recovery, and also with the Church Central Christian Center here in Joplin. And all we're interested in is trying to do something to help you. We want to make your life better. Okay, and that's all we're about. So anyway, today we're going to be diving into three seemingly non-similar concepts, but I think there's some core connection here, and that's what we're going to be talking about. And that there's a common thread that's profound to influence our lives in many, many ways. Romans 12:2, of course, is scripture. We'll be talking more about that. The observer effect, which I've already talked about, and I've talked about Romans 12:2 also. I've touched on it. But I wanted to bring these three concepts together. I've already introduced those two before, and then rational emotive behavior therapy, which is called REBT. And uh, all three of these can help our lives be better. And in fact, these three have helped my life be much, much better. Um, it's anyway, I'm just trying to share things with you that's helped me. And that's all I ever do. If it works for me, maybe it'll work for you. I'm not saying that it will, but maybe. So, um, so we're going to start off with Romans 12:2. This verse here, I'm just going to talk about it for a second. This verse urges us not to be conformed to this world's pattern. Okay. Uh, and to be transformed uh, by the renewing of our mind. And I always tell people, and this is a truth that I believe that I got many many years ago, that it's my mind and it's up to me what I put in it. I can put trash in it or I can put treasure, and I can put truth or I can put lies. And so it's my mind, and he God has commanded us to be that. Hey, you can do that, but it's in your best interest to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Mind, okay? I looked up mind and I've written down the definition out of the dictionary, and it says that which reason uh, thinks, that which reasons, thinks, feels, and wills, etc., intellectual or understands or to care. That's the right out off the dictionary, and out of the Strong's Greek um, translation, it says intellect, i.e., mind, divine and human. I thought that was significant. In thought, feelings, or will, by implication, meaning mind or understanding. So we're talking about mind, we're talking about understanding, we're talking about thinking. And by the way, there's a difference between our brain and our mind. We're not going to go into all that. Maybe we'll do that on another day. You could look at it if you're interested. But our mind is way bigger than our brain. So we're going to start off with Romans 12:2. I'm going to read that to you. No, I'm within. Here's some more comment about Romans 12:2. It says it just there are just a few lines that encapsulates the idea that the mindset holds the key to a profound transformation. Okay, our mindset, what we choose to set our mind on. That's a way that we release the power, is by setting our mind on something. And what we set it on really determines that, whether it's going to be blessing or curse, in our best interest or in our destruction, sabotage. So by aligning our thoughts with the divine truth, important point, with the divine truth, we can transcend the limitations imposed on us by society, and also and then experience a higher level of existence. We can have a better life. Even if we were able to address our emotional disorder and be in more of an order, emotional order, then we would actually be happier and very possibly have joy. And that's what the peace of God is all about. Romans 12:2. This is out of the NLT translation. I thought it was interesting, so I wanted to share that today. And so it goes this way: do not copy the behaviors and customs of the world. We're talking about alignment here. Alignment. Be careful what you line up with. Okay, that's all. That's all we're talking about here. Go on. But let God transform you into a new person. Let is so important. That's an engaging. That's not a passive statement. That is an active statement. Let. Okay. You're making a choice. You're pushing into it. And oftentimes not oftentimes, all the time when we make a change, it's painful. So we have to let it. By changing the way we think, we have to choose to flip our thinking around. And I had somebody who's talking today about uh, why do I always worry, and why I want to have gratitude in my life, but I seem to spend more time in the land of worry than in the land of gratitude. Why is that? And I said, that's because that's the one you focused on so much. That's the one you're looking for all the time, is chaos and worry and problems and threat. And yes, that's part of our biological makeup, but we have to make a choice to override some of that so that we can grow in a healthier way. Let's finish out the scripture. Then we will learn to know God's will for us, which is good, pleasing, and perfect. This word perfect is mature or complete. That's out of the Greek. Now, let's dig into the next one, and that is the observer effect, a principle that the realm of physics that suggests the act of by the act of observation can influence the outcome of phenomena. Okay, remember we talked about in quantum physics, even though they refer to it here as quantum mechanics, that the observer effect affects the outcome of whatever it affects, or whatever you observe. Excuse me. And so, initially applies to quantum mechanics. That's where quantum mechanics is. This concept has wide implications for those who, for our for implications for our understanding of reality. If you remember, a few weeks ago, Neil Bohr made this quote: "When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change." I believe that's precise, and that's what we're talking about here: changing your perspective, lining it up with the divine truth. Okay, and this is physics here. What we're talking about, quantum physics. So it changes. No, it challenges. It challenges us to consider the roles of perception in shaping our experiences and uh, uh, interactions with the world, okay? Just as a scientist observes, uh, can ob- just as a scientist's observation can impact the behaviors of particles. A scientist observing particles, it impacts the particle. Our awareness can shape the very fabric of our existence. Knowing about this has really helped me, at least in two or three major ways in my life, being able to recognize that I can back up from what I'm looking at, whether it's my thoughts, my feelings or emotions, or my behaviors, my beliefs, or my memories. Put some distance in between me and it. I'm able to observe it. I remember when I first learned to do this, it was very overwhelming, which I've talked about before already. But to back up, to observe it, knowing that uh, there's me and then there's all of that. And I can affect all of that by observing it and then making a decision, choose you this day. And so that 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 has helped me so much recognize, because at one time in my own life I thought I uh, I was locked in. I am what I am and I can't change. That's the way it's always been, so that's the way it's always got to be. But that's not true. So so um, so that's where we're at, and these things have helped me, and hopefully, and I know we're just touching on them, but hopefully that maybe you can wet your whistle a little bit and maybe move a little further, or continue to listen to me, and I'll continue to touch on many different things. I've got a lot of different ideas that I want to share on things that I've learned that I thought maybe might be a benefit to others, and I'd like to hear if they are. So let's go to the last one, and that is the which I don't know that I've really talked about this, and that is explore rational emotive behavior therapy, REBT, a therapeutic approach developed by a psychologist, uh, Albert Ellis, back in 1955. Now, Dr. Ellis, um, my brother Mike and I went to one of his classes that he came to PSU in Pittsburgh and taught one summer. It was a summer crash course, and we attended that, and um, it helped me to be able to put some things together that really helped me to be able to turn some things around and help me to recognize that I had to take the truth that I knew already and begin to apply it instead of being in a kind of living with the truth in a passive way. I had to get active with it. I had to I had to take action, and it helped me so much, and it still helps me. Dr. Ellis, he was the forerunner of cognitive therapy. In fact, uh, I looked it up again on the internet, and it said it was the first one. I don't know if it is or not, but I know it's one of the first. And the core part of REBT emphasizes on the profound connection between our beliefs, our thoughts, our emotions, okay, and then our behaviors. Now, back in the late 60s, early 70s, it was all about behavior modification, control your behavior, and then they realized that it took willpower to control your behavior, and if you didn't have willpower or your willpower runs out, which it does, then you then fall helpless to your behaviors because you haven't changed anything. You just was using willpower to clamp down. And so then when you recognize that dealing with your emotion, and we went through the emotional part of things, but then recognizing that our thoughts actually control, affect, or create our emotions, and our emotions create, control, or affect our behaviors. And so if you control the controller, and that's what Romans 12:2 was talking about, that then you're able to control how you think. Your thinking controls how you feel. You can, okay. I've had instructors in some classes I've taken that it wasn't college classes. It was more of a external lecture that said that told me that you couldn't control your emotions, and I said, "Oh, yes, you can." And what you're teaching right there is dangerous because you're giving people permission to act out without any restraint. And so, anyway, they weren't too happy about that, but I still believe it's the truth. And so, anyway, let's go on because I'm running out of time. Let's see, where am I at? By identifying and changing the irrational beliefs, and that's so important, by identifying and changing the irrational beliefs. What's true? What's not true? What's rational? What's irrational? If you really, really work on yourself, you really dig down in there, you ask yourself deep enough, it's inside of you. The truth is there if you'll dig it out. And when you see that truth, then you know it's coming from inside of you, and then you're able to start to turn things around. At least that's how it worked with me, and it's helped with others that I've talked to. So, and you be able to turn that around. And instead of letting the lies run your life, then you let the truth run your life. And it's way, way better, isn't it, to build your life on truth than it is on lies. Because sometimes we think lies are our truth. But if you really stop and think about it and say, is this that I've been believing all this time really rational or irrational? Is it a truth or is it a lie? Is it in my best interest? Is it going to really take me to that place of a better life? So, in essence, our REBT empowers individuals to take control of their own mental and emotional well being by shaping their cognitive process. And it's hard, it's hard, it's hard, it's hard, it's hard, it's hard. But if you don't do it, then you're pushed around all of your life. And then you'll say, like I used to say, why do I keep doing this? Why does this keep happening to me? What's going on? And the fact of it is, the problem is we're sabotaging our own life by the irrational beliefs that we're believing. So these three concepts have a common thread here, and that and the profound influence of this mindset, perception, and cogn, 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 cognitive uh, process helps us to have a better life. Not that it's easy, but it's better. Okay, it's hard to turn that around, but be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be not conformed. Okay, so let's go on because I think I'm about out of time. Oh man. Um, whether, whether through the spiritual renewing that we're talking about here, which is important, the scientific observation, knowing knowing that we can observe something which is is still it's part of science, but it's also part of that spiritual renewing that we're talking about. Because until you can name something, you can't change it. Okay. And then the therapy intervention of REBT, or cognitive therapy, thinking about what you're doing. And then, of course, some new things I've learned in the last few years about dealing with the nervous system and trauma and issues there, which They do connect, but there's some differences. So these remain. I want to remind you that this is a process, and it takes time, it takes work, it takes effort, and anything worthwhile is challenging, but it's beneficial. So we are going to conclude here by saying you must choose to renew your mind. Wouldn't you agree with that? Observe the world with clarity. Observe the world with clarity. Follow clarity. Follow what's more ordered in life. What's really going to get you? The more chaos you wade into, the less structure you're going to have, and less security you're going to have, less all the other things that you want. So bring order, clarity into it. And then we're going to we need to challenge ourselves to look at irrational beliefs, line ourselves up with divine truth, because that truth will set us or make us free if we continue to walk in it. To the degree that we continue to walk in it, and to the degree you choose not to walk in it, then that's the part of the chaos slash and or evil that you welcome into your life. And I'm not saying that's intentional, but now you know. Okay, so we need to conclude right here, and because I'm way out of time, I can't see the clock, so I know I'm out of time though. So thank you for listening. Remember to uh, be be careful as you navigate through life, because it's complex. It's complex, not complicated, but more complex. And never underestimate the power of your thoughts to help shape your reality. Because what you think shows up in your life. Be careful what you think. How about that? Amen. So until next time, take care of yourself. Continue to explore these fascinating thoughts and connections between mind, matter, and meaning that God has given us. Until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you, and may his face shine upon you and give you his peace. And of course, make healthy choices. Hey, take care of yourself. Be good to be in church. And of course, we have Saturday night meeting right here at 5th and Virginia in the corner building here. It's got signs on the outside, 7 o'clock Saturday night. So until next time, take care of yourself.